Aloha, my friends and familia, long time no see. I have been away on a spiritual retreat with Gary Spivey, a world-renowned psychic, medium, spiritual healer, empath, guide, and I have experienced some profound energy activations just landing earthbound to come to you with a full moon live astrological update because many of you have been reaching out to me going, Lotus, what is going on with this full moon energy? It is rich, it is profound, it is juicy, it is full of activation. And so if you're feeling those lunar energies, you're not alone. This coming full moon is happening tomorrow, Thursday, October 17th at around 6 in the a.m. So very early. So we're in it. We're in that 24-hour period window where the energetics of the full moon are happening. It is live. And what the full moon does is it essentially opens and expands our awareness. It allows more consciousness to come in. And so we see, we perceive, we open to more cognition, more awareness. We feel, sense, and perceive more. So if you're sitting at home going, yeah, that is because the lens of awareness is expanding and more energy can come in. So I wanted to give you an update about what is happening energetically. It's a very interesting dynamic because we have the sun in an earth sign and we have the moon and a water sign. And so this full moon is really activating the energetic play of earth and water. Okay, the structure of earth and the flowing of water. And I'm going to dive into it on this video deeper. Sun is in Virgo. And for those of you who follow Western astrology, you're thinking this is a Libra full moon or Libra sun. The sun does not actually go into the constellation of Libra until about November 1st. So we're still in Virgo until November 1st. So Virgo is an earth sign. It's all about the earth mother. It's all about healing. It's all about grounding our material reality on this earth. When do we sleep? What is our sleep schedule? What is our diet? What is our health, our routine? How do we take care of ourselves? How do we nurture and nourish our bodies? Okay, so Virgo relates to the earthly plane. It's an earth sign. It relates to healing. It relates to being a midwife for consciousness. It relates to being someone who heals the earth through our wisdom, through our activities, through our consciousness, and through our awareness. I often think of Virgo as being connected to doctors, nurses, energy healers, nutritionists, body care workers, midwives, anyone who is here to facilitate, uplift, and serve humanity through diet, health, exercise, energy, healing. And they do it in a way that is very grounded, that is very nurturing, that is very physical. Maybe you do it through sharing herbology, through sharing nutrition, through sharing real live physical things like getting a chiropractic adjustment or receiving acupuncture, going to the doctor and receiving some type of a surgery. Whatever it is, Virgo relates to the earthly ways in which we heal. Whereas the moon is in Pisces at this full moon time. And Pisces is water and it's intuition and it's flow. And so where Virgo is material and mundane and practical and touchable, the moon is in the sign of water. It's in the sign of intuition. It's in the sign of spirituality. And so both are so incredibly important. And at the full moon time, the sun and moon are always exactly opposite one another. They're creating this divine polarity. And so there can be a bit of a charge, there can be a bit of a tension, there can be a bit of this back and forth between what do I focus on right now? Do I focus on my real material, diet, nutrition, exercise, health? There's a tug in that direction. Or do I focus on meditation? Do I focus on rest and relaxation? And so the tug of war could be between what do we focus on? Part of you might be feeling this call to get in touch with their spiritual nature, to go on retreat, to tune into the spiritual realm. While another side of you might be going, I really need to get serious, grounded, and structured. I need to make sure my diet's on point, my exercise is on point, my body is healthy, clean, hygienic. That's Virgo. Pisces is going with the flow, getting into the waters, getting into the intuition, channeling, spirituality, psychic phenomenon. And so having those two energetics at this full moon, the parts of the body that they emphasize, okay, Virgo emphasizes the stomach and digestion. And so things around digestion, things around eating, things around dietary habits, feelings in our gut may be coming up to the surface, things we haven't been acknowledging about what we're feeling. And the feet, Pisces rules the feet. So Sun in Virgo affecting the gut, affecting digestion, affecting nutrition. What are we eating, both physically, energetically, emotionally? And then Pisces, the feet. Where are we walking to? Where are we spiritually grounding? How are we connecting to our spiritual nature on this earth? How are we walking? What road are we traveling? And this can also be, are we getting enough water? Right? You think about the feet as potentially having been our fins, if you resonate with the whole mermaid vibe. And so the question is, are you getting enough water? Are you getting enough drinking water? Are you getting enough time in the water? Are you getting enough time with flow? When you think about water as more than just the water we drink, we can also think about it as the flow of beingness, the water of the spiritual energy. Are we receiving enough spiritual light? Right? And that was one thing over the last 2 weeks. I went to 2 different events with Gary Spivey and his whole crew. One of the events was a fundraiser for saving the whales in Arroyo Grande. And that was just absolutely phenomenal. There was a blessing from some llamas and monks who were there. I just saw like a really cool blue light come in there as I'm sharing this. And I felt that the water of the spiritual energies, my cup has been filled to the brim, just filled to overflowing. And so I wanted to share some of that energy with you. And I think with this full moon, one really good thing to do could be to chant, right? To turn on spiritual music, to get into the flow state, to allow the energy of the spiritual light to come through. And this time of year is such an interesting time of year because the veil between worlds is lifted. I got so much sunlight coming in here. Let's see here. That's better. The veil between the worlds is lifting. And so we have greater access to the spiritual realm now more than ever. And so you might be receiving insights, you might be receiving awarenesses, you might be receiving more clarity than you felt in a while. And so I really want to invite you to go out on a walk in nature, to sit at home and tune in to what is arising, because the full moon brings everything up to the surface. It brings all of the awarenesses up. Okay. And so I want to bring to your attention now, I'm going to share the chart of the day with you and dive into something that's an interesting dynamic here with this full moon. Many of you have heard me speak to the energetic of Chiron, the wounded healer. And so today, the moon, as we go into the full moon, is approaching a complete conjunction with Chiron, the wounded healer. What is Chiron, the wounded healer? Chiron is the unhealed wound. So if you're a healer, you're a guide, you're an empath, whatever it is that your work, your gift, your blessing is, Chiron represents the place or space where you're inhibited, you're wounded, there's a pain. You may be helping people, you may be teaching people, you may be assisting people, but there's always this part of you that's like, I really could use some healing here, even though I do all this good work in the world. And gosh knows, I can so relate to that, having been one myself and still working to heal. And so we look to the sign that it's in to see what type of wounding this would be. And so Chiron in Pisces the wounding, Pisces is the spiritual. Pisces is the intuitive. Pisces is the connection to the divine, the connection to God, the connection to source, the connection to our highest self. And so Chiron, I got this huge helicopter flying over, so it's such a confirmation. Um, Chiron is that wound we have with our psychic abilities and with our spiritual connection and our spiritual connection to source. And the moon is going to be full conjunct Chiron tomorrow. And so this full moon could be bringing to the surface a deep wounding emotionally around our connection to God, around our connection to source, around our connection to our highest self. And the wound is where the light gets in, right? The wound is where the light gets in. The wound is where the healing can begin. The wound is the physical manifestation of where we have been hurt. It is where we've been disconnected from source, and it is where we crave most deeply our connection to source. And I can tell you, having spent the last 2 weeks with a very advanced spiritual teacher, as well as with 3 or 4 or 5 monks who are from a very prestigious order, who vibrate at an incredibly high rate, whose healing is profound and powerful just to be near. We are connected to something. There is something bigger and greater than just this human consciousness can sometimes hold. And the moon aspecting Chiron at this full moon could be an awakening of consciousness across humanity, where many of us are feeling something bigger, something deeper, feeling a dawning of an awareness that goes beyond what can be seen or known in the physical domain. And this awakening is happening on such a deep level across places and spaces and minds and beings. And it is an opening, and it is an exaltation and a celebration, and it is a healing. And so across the gamut, we could be feeling a wide range of emotions, from being highly triggered because we're feeling deep emotional pain. That's the unhealed aspect. Or we could be feeling transcendent as we face and liberate those deeply buried traumas and dramas and pains, both within ourselves and within the collective. And when we have a full moon activating this, the full moon draws in the deepest connection to the sun, right? It amplifies the solar light. The bigger the moon, the bigger the light from the sun getting reflected from the sun. And so there's all this light or illumination, sun in polarity exactly by degree. So 31 degrees Pisces Chiron, opposite sun, 31 degrees Virgo. And so this opposition, sun, moon, Chiron, great light and healing is coming through between the two forms of healing on this earth. Virgo, one form of healing, it's the material. It's the one that most people know about, right? Diet, nutrition, health, exercise, going to the doctor, going to the chiropractor, right? Going to get a physical adjustment. That's the Virgo healing energy. Taking an herb, taking a medicine, that's all Virgo energy, something in the physical plane. Moon in Pisces represents the divine spiritual healing that comes through God, that comes through grace, that comes through faith, that comes through our connection to something higher. And so having the sun and moon in polarity around these two aspects of healing tells me that we are going to experience profound healing at this full moon, a profound connection to ways in which we can heal at more and more profound levels. Now, it's very interesting because the sun is exactly conjunct Juno, which is an asteroid. Juno is the mother and the wife. And Virgo is often portrayed as the virgin mother, right? Of course, virgin, if you go and follow it back, the etymology of Virgo, you will find that it goes back to woman. Virgo means woman, pure woman. Purity, of course, just goes back to woman, right? And so the sun is in the sign of woman. It's in the sign of the mother. Virgo is the largest constellation, about 47 7 days long that it takes the sun to travel through this constellation, which I can show you. So let's take this out. I'm going to bring you to Stellarium, and it's so good to see you all. I have been, hi, April. I have been so deeply in the spiritual waters, processing such profound, beautiful energy. It's taken me days to get back online here. So very happy to be here with you all. And at a very auspicious, powerful time with this full moon coming in. So let's take a look at Virgo, right? The earth energy, that challenge between healing our physical body and healing our spiritual body. That is what this full moon is really, really all about. So here is the constellation of Virgo. And learning how to do these readings. And so we have the sun at sort of the, here's Virgo. She's moved past the head, past the breasts, past the belly, past the hips, and now she's traveling right at the thighs. And the thighs astrologically relate to the sign Sagittarius. Sagittarius is all about travel. It's all about forward movement. You think about the thighs of a horse, you think about the thighs on our body. It's the biggest, longest, strongest part of our bodies. And so having the sun here at this full moon speaks. And we're back online. Yep. So yes, I'm going to share screen for just a moment and then we're going to finish up for today. But this upcoming full moon is very powerful. Okay, and I'm going to speak a bit more about Spica in a separate post. She's a fixed star, very, very powerful energy, very bright star. So there's all of this light coming through to help us to heal, to help us to find healing between our material reality, Virgo, and then the moon, if you follow me, right? And Venus is in Libra, which is all about partnership. If you follow me over to the moon, and I don't know if we can get all of it on one picture here. Yeah. At the full moon time, we always have sun in polarity to moon. Okay. And so here we have the moon in Pisces, sandwiched between Cetus, the sea monster, and Andromeda, the princess, and Pegasus, the champion of heroic proportion, who came and actually saved Andromeda or Cassiopeia from Cetus, the sea monster. And so Pisces can be a time, we have the moon there, when we face some of our biggest challenges. We face what may seem like the end, and then we experience some type of miracle, some type of transformation. I've told this story many times of how Cetus, right here underneath Pisces, was in service to Neptune, the god of the sea. Of course, we have Neptune in Pisces as well at this full moon time. And this princess claimed to be more beautiful than Neptune's mermaids. And so they chained her to a rock, and we're going to feed her to the monster Cetus, the sea whale right here. Out of nowhere comes Pegasus with a great champion, a great Greek hero on its back. He uses the head of Medusa to slay Cetus, the sea monster, and takes her to be his queen. And so it's a triumphant story of love, of miracles, and of victory. And so the key main message of this full moon is